Hello, here I am, live again, day 57. Is that right? Day 57 in Christchurch. And we're in our accommodation that we got to yesterday afternoon. And then I went to bed and slept.
We went for a lie down.
I went for a lie down and slept. Whoop, straight through from 4 o'clock through to 1:30 in the morning. And I haven't slept since. Oh, I've tried. What's this jet lag serious? Oh, let's go live on yes, it works this time. Live on Instagram. Finally, we are going live on Instagram. That's better. Okay, right. Hello, welcome. It's Lindsay Setchell here. Just in case you don't know what we're talking about today, we're talking about how diet can be affected by humans, really. What common mistakes that humans make when they're trying to feed horses. I think that so many people get into horses and they, through no fault of their own, simply don't have a clue. We all want the best, don't we, for our horses, but feeding mistakes are incredibly common and more common than people realize. And as more horses are now being owned by ladies, more than men, we are the feeders, the keepers, and the givers of the universe. And we like to, it makes us feel good when we feed. So lots of times it's all done with good intentions, but that wrong diet can lead to very poor health, can lead to really serious metabolic issues, and very much so long-term soundness problems, because usually coupled with owners not understanding that much about the diet, they also don't understand much about the horse's hooves as well. And so that combination can be lethal, and it is sadly often lethal. So let me know in the comments, have you ever changed your horse's diet and seen a difference in their health or their hooves, whether good or bad? Our experiences and the way that we observe what happens to our horses, sometimes that reflection, that observation is tainted with what we expect to happen and what we hope to happen, and we almost see it happening when it's not really happening. A sort of placebo effect in reverse, where you expect something to happen and there's actually no change whatsoever with your horse, but you see a change because you want to see a change. And then on the flip side of that, you do see changes when you actually really do see changes. So let me know in the comments if you have seen any of those changes or expected to see any of those changes. Hurrah, there are people here. Patty's here, top of the shop. Hello, Patty. Good to see you. Hi, Lindsay, she says. Susie Pemberton's here. Oh, why is it being very slow? Hello, Dawn Lim's here. Hello, lovely. Heather Swithenbank's here. Hi, everyone. Michelle Seitz is here. Hello, Teresa's here. Hey, nice to see you. It's good. Does my voice sound croaky? I think my voice is croaky. Jessie Potters is here. Suzanne Scheid is here. Ramon is here. Deanna Hunt is here. Tara is here. Michelle says, Michelle, Tara says, smiles with a donut, question mark. Yeah, we did it, waffles. Michelle Sight says, I heard teff seeds can stick in gums of horses. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that all sorts of seeds can stick inside the horse's gums. And we also know that not every horse's teeth and gums are healthy. And that's very much another consideration. All kinds of things can happen when we feed our horses, but I think we need to be incredibly careful of hysteria, don't we? I'm not doing that just in case. So I feed my dogs raw, and honestly, if I could tell you the amount of times that I've been told by professionals not to do that, because ultimately they think I'm stupid, and ultimately they think that my dog will die a horrible death. I've done it for years and years and years and years, and all I can report is healthy healthy animals. And we've fed hay for years and years and years. And I have never experienced it. And I've never experienced it in all the clients that I've had. So we have to be really careful, don't we, of picking up little things that people say and then taking that on board and running with it. Just have to be careful with that. Uta says, hello, everyone. Anne Chopra's here. Hi from Stratford. Anne Stockinger's here. Yes, just this week I've seen my horse has lost his huge crest and his fat pad since ditching the bagged feeds. Well done. Well done, since ditching those inflammatory feeds. Good for you. Leah says, good morning, heading to you today. Oh, I can't wait to meet you tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. Leah is our first HMB Pro student in New Zealand. She lives in North Island and she's travelling down to South Island to be with us at our Christchurch clinic workshop, which starts tomorrow. Tomorrow. We love you. Tomorrow. It's only a day away. God. I'm actually a bit nervous. I don't get nervous before workshops. It's really funny. I'm not nervous about meeting everybody. It's because I think I'm just not used to having all of my kit around me, all the things that make me feel comfort. Knowing I've got everything. We have this long list and we're going through it going, oh my God, we haven't got that. Oh God, we've got a projector. Oh God. And that's what's making me feel nervous. Not, of course, the actual workshop. I've done hundreds of those. Laurie de Passmore is here on Instagram. Anne Chopra. Where are you? Are you on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube? Magnum 0909 has joined. South Down Equine Therapy is with us. Hello. Snoopy Star is here. Howdy. Howdy from those on Instagram. On Instagram, folks, I'm sorry you haven't seen us going through the journey over the last 5 or so days, but I couldn't get Instagram to share on StreamYard. I don't know why. Where did I go? Michelle goes, I like teff. Great. I think teff is good too. So it's one of the gooder hays. Gooder hays? Yeah, I think that's the word, is it? Good haze. Hello, everyone, says Melanie. Good to see you. Louise says, hello, everyone. Vivian Avery says, good morning. I feed my dog raw for 14 years and they're so healthy. Absolutely. Incredible health benefits that come with that. I could reel them all off. Jenny says, hey. Maylin's here. Hello. Tara says, have you ever come across a horse allergic to hay? I've come across horses with, as we all have, respiratory issues, but it's not the hay they're allergic to, it's the dust, isn't it? And the spores. Actually allergic to hay? No, I've never come across a horse allergic to hay, but then it depends what we define as allergic, because the wrong hay can have really major chronic inflammatory cause major chronic inflammatory episodes in the horse. So it's not a case of just being allergic to the hay itself, but yeah, that's an interesting one. I think that's an interesting one. Ditch bagged feeds. Yes. Strip it out, Michelle, for at least 6 months. Just feed hay, mixed hay, no bag feeds, no supplements. Strip it out, see what happens, more movement. Meta says, hello, it has rained all day in Denmark. It's not raining here. Good morning. Good morning from Chilliwack. I love that, Nancy. Chilliwack. She's Columbia. Meta says, no, we've just done that one. Petty says, I've just published how Tubby Anchor in 6 months changed her growing rings appearance because of me stopping giving her bag feed. Growing rings disappeared. We've still much to do with her hooves. I will go and look at that if you published it on the Phoenix Way. Thank you, Patty. You have so many horses now that you're looking after. I can't keep up. Hi, says Paula. Good to see you. Michelle says, my horse had a real bad trim. I'm trying to learn to trim myself. She couldn't walk for 3 weeks. We can help you on the Phoenix Way. Just put your pictures up and we'll help. Pia says, hello. Melanie says, glad we are making our own. Yeah. Becky Bragg is here. Hi. Yeah. Glad we are making our own hay this year. Very excited to see the changes. Hopefully lack of rings. That'd be really good to see. Hi all from Minnesota. It's 40 degrees today, says Gail. And Becky's here. Becky Harding. Hello. Okay. So let's crack into this, shall we? So what common things do owners do and how can we avoid them? So we talked about this yesterday. Excess sugar and starch is harmful to the overall body and hoof health. And the biggest mistake in horse nutrition is feeding too much sugar and starch. However, you must also understand that they do need that too. It's not a case of they don't need it, they just don't need it in excess. We need everything in balance, but it's really difficult to find out what that balance is. But if we are overdoing it and horses are being pushed out onto green pastures and they're given nothing else, just that grass to eat, then it is funny how I hear people say, oh, that hay isn't going to give a broad spectrum of all the vitamins and minerals that horses need, and yet they're quite happy to stick horses on what often is grass that is usually a monoculture, for instance rye, because it's quite hardy, or too much rye in there. And if they actually let their field grow and they didn't let the horses on it, they would see that when those grasses grow to the seed heads, that in fact that is not even as good as the hay that they're giving. And we're also making these horses consume far too many of these non-structural carbohydrates, which are huge in the plant before the plant gets to a point where it needs to start turning some of that into structure to keep it upright. So why is it a problem? We talked about yesterday, because it causes blood sugar spikes, it causes insulin resistance. If you're not sure what that is, go and have a look at the live from yesterday. That increases the risk of metabolic issues, of problems with the hooves, and that leads to chronic inflammation, which is incredibly destructive throughout the body, and it's something you cannot see, but all you can see are fat pads perhaps, and maybe behavioral changes, and maybe not so healthy hooves. The chronic inflammation is so destructive that we know to the gut as well, and to emotional as well as physical well-being. And when you stop overdoing it and you strip it out, it's then that you see the difference. Because if you've been overdoing it with the feeds, you've been overdoing it with the supplements, you've been overdoing it with the grass, and then you strip it out and you start feeding hay, you go, oh, my horse just altogether seems calmer. And that's a huge reflection of what's going on in the war zone inside their body, which we talked about yesterday. So go and have a look at that. It can cause issues in the foot. Now, this whole laminitis debate has to be dissected hugely, because for decades now we've been believing in one area of this, which is that the lamini get affected, P3 rotates, it might sink. Go and have a look at my latest post on the public page. And that's it. We've not discussed anymore. Millions of dollars has been spent on that, but we've not discussed anymore. And now that needs to be broken down and dissected completely, because we need to understand more about the hooves. We need to understand more about that painful chronic pain effect on the metabolism, and vice versa. So where can sugar and starch, where can it hide? Well, it can hide in molasses-based feeds, even feeds that say that they are light, or say that they are good for laminatics. In the UK, they have a badge put on certain bagged feeds saying that it is safe for laminatics, and it's just not true. These are badges that are put on, that these companies pay for to have them put on, so that owners look at it and think, well, that's fine. I can feed my incredibly overweight, poorly pony or horse this feed and it'll do it a load of good. That's not what we should be doing. We should be stripping all of that out and giving the horse what they need. High starch grains, it's a big thing in dry climates where horses don't get a lot of grass, and the owners think, well, if they're not getting grass, I can't get hold of hay, so therefore I'm going to feed them a lot of high starch grains. So oats, corn, sweet feeds, they're often called. Those are places where they can hide. And of course, lush spring, autumn grass, any grass, in fact, which is growing. And in Europe, where it's very temperate, in many places in Europe, so particularly in the UK, you have grass growing all year round. It just doesn't stop, because we don't have those very, very cold snaps that last long enough, and we don't have the incredibly hot snaps that burn the grass off. And of course, those healthy treats, apples, carrots in excess, and all the other chemically created treats synthetic treats such as synthetic licks. You've seen people probably in stables where horses have got some of these flavored licks hanging down, and they're very appealing as well to the younger generation. If they're walking along down that pink aisle, they're looking for things like bubblegum flavored. Mum, that sounds fun, shall we use that? Oh, that's a laugh. Or chocolate flavored, and it raspberry flavored, and these are synthetic entirely, and they are very, 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 very high in sugar, and they are not good for our horses at all. So what do we have to do? And it's the same for humans, but how do you do it? You have to switch to low sugar, and we've been banging on about this for decades and decades and decades. Fiber, 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 fiber. It's so important. That's why it has to be forage based. And the thing is, and I'm not going to go into great detail with this now, but forage based with balanced minerals. Now, if you add balanced minerals, what minerals do you need to add? So you go and get your hay tested, thinking that that will suddenly give you an amazing insight in what you need to give your horse. And for most people, when they see those hay analysis, they look at it and go, I just must double dutch. It doesn't mean anything to me. I'm going to have somebody to help me. I'm going to get a nutritionist to help me, and nutritionists love supplementing. And so the next thing you know, you're buying a bunch of supplements that you don't really know what they're doing, but you've been told that you need. And then the hay changes. And then what do you do? And even if it was balanced to what? What is it that those microbes need? Well, the microbes need to stop having a war with themselves in the gut, for one, and they need to start having fiber. So you've got to choose that low non-structural carbohydrate hay, that low NSC hay that is mixed. And if you can't get mixed, you can only get teff, or you can only get orchard grass, or you can only get timothy. You need to then mix that. You need to mix what you can get. Get as many different hays as you can. So then you have to feed all these different hays as much as you can to give them more of a broad spectrum. I'm not a fan of using grazing mussels, because I'm not a fan of that at all. I'd rather you thought about sticking up a little track and getting horses moving more, and not being stuck in a grazing muzzle all day, which can be very, very stressful. I know that for some horses, for some owners, they don't have a lot of choice. Well, my question to you would be, if those grazing muzzles are going to be used all day, every day, is that the right thing? Should you be doing that to your horse? Should you be creating that kind of stress? Wouldn't it be better to look for somewhere else, or to put a track up if you can? Sugar overload is one of the biggest, most serious problems that horses suffer from, because it kickstarts huge metabolic disorders. Reducing excess sugar in grass, reducing grass itself, is one of the best things that you can do. And I know people say grass isn't the problem, it's other things. Well, when you have horses with terrible chronic hoof pain, which we now know is affecting their metabolism, I'm not quite sure how, except for the fact that long suffering horses that are in pain, constant pain, will have a constant flow of problems in their metabolism. But what we need to know is, how can all of this, which way is it flowing? Is it flowing from the diet? Is it flowing from the hooves? Is it in reality flowing both ways? And we just need to be careful of all of those things. I think that is more the case. But like I said, laminitis has to be dissected now. Okay, so if we feed an unbalanced profile, i.e. we're only feeding a monospecies of grass or a monospecies of hay, and then we're sticking in a load of minerals and supplements, how do we know that we're doing the right thing? Well, we need to look at our horse's behavior. We need to look at the feet. Instead of sticking more and more and more in, the way that we found is that you start stripping it out. You can test your hay, but do you test your grass? Most hay is usually, when you're keeping it as mixed and you've not got rye or alfalfa, leguminous hays in there, or cereal hays, it's usually really very good. Obviously, we don't want it to be dusty, because that's going to cause other problems. You need to be very much thinking towards dry, natural, long fibre rather than going for sugars, etc., and rather than putting your horses out on pastures. Let's have a few more shout outs here. Okay, let's have. Oh, where did you all go? I think we were at Becky last, weren't we? So Sandra's here. Hello, Sandra. Angie Medler's here. Garvin Ranch is here. Fiona Reynolds is here. Hello. Connie Toir is here. Trudy Bassman says, hi from Arizona. Thank you for all you do. It has really helped my mare. Thank you. I just wish I could trim better. Well, we can help you with that. Her feet look terrible, but she's doing much better since she's no longer has chopped toes and high heels. Wonderful. Well, we'll keep, and you've got to keep trying, Trudy. Don't give up. We've talked about that a lot in the lives that we did last month. Hello from Pennsylvania, says Tiv. Louise says, my horses graze all summer with lots of movement, but also have hay available. Excellent. At the time, don't have a choice because they are boarded. No bag feed, only mineral block and hay and meadow pasture. Okay, so that's a good thing that you're providing the hay, because I drive around, we all drive around, don't when we see these horses in these pastures with nothing. And they're standing there eating grass because that's all they've got. They're not given a choice. How about give your horse a choice and see what happens? Give them hay. Put hay in the field. See what happens. Jeanette says, hi everyone, bit late, I dozed off. Sorry. Good morning from sunny Cust. Oh, seeing you soon. Seeing you this morning, Joe. Isn't that exciting? I'm actually going to see Joe this morning.
No way.
We are 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Be careful, all you people in New Zealand. We might just come and knock on your door too. Ulrika, hi all. We'll catch up later on. Melanie says, if you have a mixed hay, do you mix it like one pile but with multiple hays, or do you put one pile out? Yeah, I know what you mean. Teff, Orchard, Timothy, or do you just go, I've got these three hays and I've got my bucket and I'm just going to go bit of that, bit of that, bit of that. I personally would mix them together. I wouldn't have them as separate hays. I'd mix them together is how I would do it. Hello, my darling. Lisa Hutchins here. Michelle says, new green grass, I was told to limit it to 5 to 10 minutes. They can get an awful lot in that time. And then why would we do that? Why would we even bother for 5 to 10 minutes? Surely that's quite stressful. Just don't give it at all. You just don't need it. Don't give it at all. I think that we are forever told, aren't we, that it's horses eat grass. Well, they're not used to eating these lowland grasses. That's not what they're used to eating, because we just overdo it for them all the time. So if we make these mistakes and we give horses too much sugar, this can be a factor in your horses just not improving and not getting better. And it has to be consistent. So many people, when they're trying to help their horses, they try a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And there's sometimes a bit of grass. What's a spider? Here, just coming down to that. And sometimes a little bit of spider. And it's only microscopic, it's not a big one. They try lots and lots of things and they don't stick at it for very long. And when you're stripping the diet back, you really do need to stick at it. So making sure you're feeding that diet, stripping that diet back and making sure you're feeding that year in, year out without adjusting for seasonal changes. That's really important. Don't adjust for age or for workload or metabolic conditions, because their guts work the same. Don't adjust for that. Keep it going. Keep that 24/7, 365 hay going. Keep that movement going. It's difficult because we can't see the gut, but ignoring how the gut and the hooves reflect the diet is not good, right? We need to know by looking at these rings. We need to know by looking at the horn quality. We need to know by the very fact that maybe horses get footy. We need to know that horses are putting on weight and that they are appearing stressed, and ulcers, for instance. These sorts of things are a reflection on us and the way we keep our horses. They are not a reflection on the horse. We must always think that. Probably the majority of pathologies that horses have to deal with are a reflection of our bad management, our bad trimming. It's not a reflection of how poor Mother Nature made the horse. It's a reflection of us. So always be observing your horse's condition. Always be observing those hooves. Always make sure the trim is right, of course. And that's a huge thing. If your horse has got metabolic issues, are you going to dive straight for the drugs? Is that what you're going to do? Because the vet comes along and tests your horse and you've got high insulin levels. Are you going to dive straight for the drugs, or are you going to change the diet first, or together? Or are you just going to say the drugs are just going to fix it? Because drugs rarely fix, they just lower symptoms. Listen to what your horse is telling you. That's very important. I think that diet is massive, and one of the biggest problems is you can see hooves, but you can't see the gut. And if we could all see the gut and we could go and dive in there and become part of that microbiome, we'd realize we were in that war zone. So today's takeaway: many common problems that the horse is suffering from are feeding mistakes caused by owners, but they have good intentions. So making those adjustments, heading towards a fiber-based diet and moving away from a bagged-based diet is step number one. Take a look at your horse's diet. Are there any hidden sugars, any hidden areas where you think you could improve, where you could improve the forage? Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much, everybody on Instagram. Thank you for coming on YouTube, on Facebook, and I'll see you again tomorrow. I think Gary is going to be going live tonight, but I can't be sure. I've not spoken to him yet. I hope you are enjoying these sessions, and tomorrow I begin the workshop, but I'm going to see you first before I do that. Oh, it's very exciting. Remember, the Phoenix Way is about rising together. It's about community. It's about support. It's about us helping you. It's about feeding for function, not just filling that feed bucket up with stuff to make you feel good. Okay. Until next time, I'll see you then. Bye-bye. Bye.